Good afternoon, I'm Caroline Brown with FLUKE Networks. I'm a product program manager, and I'm here today with Mark Mullins, our global marketing manager, and he's going to entertain us today with his presentation on the LINKIQ network and cable tester. So Mark, what is the LINKIQ and what does it do for us?
Well, thanks, Caroline. This is the perfect tool for people that are installing or troubleshooting network devices on an audio, video, or any other type of Ethernet network. So what it does, two things. It does cable testing and network testing. Let's do the cable testing first. All I have to do is connect this remote ID to the far end of the cable I'm testing. Then I hit auto test. Only one button, makes it easy. What it'll tell me is the length of the cable, the number of the remote ID, how the wiring is connected, and then also the speed that the cable can support. Now this cable could run from 10 meg to 100 meg, but nothing above 1 gig. And why is that? Well, if you notice here that pin 7 doesn't go all the way through. In fact, it's probably broken somewhere along the link. If I touch pairs here, you'll see that at 5 feet, it's open. The rest of the cable is 9 feet long, so there's an open at 5 feet. And if I look very carefully at this connector, I might be able to see the problem. It's right here. I made this myself. So let's see what happens if we test a good cable. So now I'm going to take my remote ID, I will plug it in, we'll plug it into the end of this good little cable. I hit auto test, and now I'll see I've got remote ID number 1 again. I've got the cables, they're all connected straight through, and this cable can handle all the way up to 10 gigabit. So I know I've got a good cable. Now the next thing I might want to know if I'm installing a device on the network is what am I plugged into at the other end? And for that, we've got the network testing part of the LINKIQ. I'll just hit the same auto test button, and it realizes I'm connected to a switch, I'm going to run a different test now. So what it's going to do is tell me the speed at which the switch can connect, and here it says 10 base T, 100 base T, and 1000 base T, so it goes up to a gig, but no higher than that. It tells me the port number of the switch, which is oftentimes very important when I'm trying to connect a device to a network. It also tells me the VLAN and the IP address of the switch, along with some other information. Now once I get that, I can also perform a ping test, which verifies whether traffic can get from my device here to, say, some controller, like a wireless controller or a camera controller or whatever. In this case, it didn't get through. If I touch it, it'll tell me why. That's because in this case, there's no DHCP. My device can't get an address, so it's not going to work on IP. So that's something I might need to know in order to troubleshoot. And the final test it performs is a PoE test. And in this case, it can test all the way up to 90 watts of power, which is the current 802.3 BT standard. In this case, the switch says I've got 13 watts and 25 watts of power available. We then put a load on that power to see if it's really there. If I've got a cable that's too long, or maybe a cable that's poor quality, the power may not be able to get through. But in this case, the LINKIQ tells me I did get the power, so I know I've got what I need to be able to do to turn on, say, my switch or my access point, or maybe even a camera. So that's it. Everything you need to install and troubleshoot devices on the network, that's the LINKIQ. You can learn more about the LINKIQ at www.fluknetworks.com.